Hey folks, welcome back to the next part of the reloading 32 ACP with our Beretta 81 handgun on this relatively cold and breezy day. So just trying to keep warm up here, also doing some filming for the 9mm video as well. So stay tuned for that one. But anyways, we are continuing work on our Berry's bullets here with the Titegroup powder. So last video, we definitely made some improvements in terms of things seem to kind of tighten up a little bit. But I wanted to kind of check and see if we could maybe just add a 1/10 of a grain and kind of see where we end up on this and see if there's any noticeable improvement that we can kind of pick up from that. And then at the end, I think that's probably the max that we'll push it. We'll decide on a final load for these. And then the next step is going to be moving on to the Remington Full Metal Jacket bullets with the accurate number 2 powder and maybe giving that a go next. So let's do some chronograph work here first and see how these come out and see if we get some good consistency or not. All right, let's check it out and see what we get. Definitely a bit of punch there. I kind of felt that. 931. 970. 970. Okay. 1011. 959. 973. 963. 964. All right, folks, so on that one, I could definitely feel the bite in my hand, kind of like I've not experienced with that gun before. Definitely, it kind of reminded me of like shooting a Walther PPK in 380, where it kind of just bites you kind of on the web of your hand a bit. But definitely kind of, you can see a difference, like 1/10 of a grain, and we pretty much went from 850 shooting all the way up into the 900s, upper 900s. So that's the thing to remember with 32 ACP. You know, it doesn't take a lot to kind of move things around a bit. So let's see, that last shot we did 964, 963. So pretty tight on that. 973. 959. So sorry, I'm kind of fighting the sun a little bit in my face. 1011. So that one was a little fast. 970. 931. So that one was kind of the outlier, it looked like. And then our high 1011. Our low 931. The average 967. So big spread there, and our standard deviation is 21. All right, so yeah, definitely had kind of a bit more punch there, but it seemed like in terms of our feet per second, we're more consistent on this one than any of them. So interesting. Okay, folks, so the sun's going down. It's getting cold, and so we need to keep cracking here. So nice group, very nice group. Basically, kind of a nice, my thumb would probably cover all 5 of those shots up. And there's that other one down there. It's kind of in that group, I guess. And then we had the one flyer. So accuracy in terms of the grouping wasn't too bad. We were just a bit off to the right there. Okay. So that's something to think about. I remember in the hand loader article, the author mentioning how, I can't remember specifics now, but he would get really good groups, but they would be way off to the left or right. So, and with a lot of these pistols, with the way the sights are set up, you're not adjusting them. So, I don't think there's any adjustment really you can make with that Beretta 81. So, as I recall. So I think what it is trying to find some sort of balance there with everything. So I think what we'll do is we will wrap this up indoors, talk about what we've learned, how we're going to finish up the berries in the Titegroup, and then talk about what comes next and where we're going to take the project next. All right, folks, so it was getting very cold up there at the range with the wind coming in. We actually have a big cold blast coming where temperatures are going to get into the negative digits. So definitely starting to feel it up there, and spent several hours up there. So time to wrap it up and bring it indoors to finish our wrap up, and then also talk about what's going to come next in terms of 32 ACP and what my plans are. So with this load right here, we use the berries bullets, we use Titegroup powder, we use the S&B primers. And the lessons that I learned at the end of this, doing this, was first off, which I was absolutely not surprised by this at all, but 0.1 to 0.2 grain changes, they make big moves. So I saw during the all the testing that I did, that just moving it up a tenth of a grain or 2/10 of a grain, we were easily jumping up 100 feet per second. So that was definitely one thing that I saw there. No surprise, because we're dealing with that small case, so I'm not surprised in the slightest. But definitely kind of the way I look at it is, it's certainly a cartridge where you do want to pay close attention to your powder charge and the consistency in your powder charges on this one, without a doubt. Maybe in a much larger cartridge, a tenth of a grain might not affect things too much, but certainly in this small, tiny cartridge, we definitely saw that, no doubt about it. The other thing too, which right now I haven't tested completely, at some point in the future, whenever I prep more 32 ACP brass and we come back and we revisit after we finish the next project we're going to do, I suspect that primers could potentially affect things as well. So the S&B primers typically I have found have been kind of weaker than CCI primers. I don't know what the data is. I know there's people out there that have tested primers and stuff, and they have come up with all the data in terms of which primer is hotter than another primer and all that sort of stuff. It's possible the data might show the S&B primers are hotter than CCI, but my seat of the pants feel for the whole thing is the S&B primers are a little bit weaker, at least the ones that I have in the stockpile that I have. So I think potentially that could affect things, because the data that I got was way different than other people that were doing the same loads or whatever. So there again, it's a reminder also as a hand loader or reloader. It's like when you watch my videos or you watch other people's videos reloading, really, it's not a how-to manual or anything like that. It is a thing of where you're getting to watch what I do, but just like all reloaders, you need to work up your own loads with your own gun and start it, just like everybody says all the time, start at the bottom, work your way up. So things like this, if someone's using a Federal primer, or if they're using I'm trying to think of what else is out there, Winchester primers, Remington primers, especially with this small cartridge, I could see where it could have some big changes in terms of how things actually work. So this is something that I'm kind of aware of and just keeping in mind. That's just my seat of the pants feel kind of on it. The upside with this load that kind of worked out was it's an inexpensive load. Right now at current pricing, we're looking at about 8 cents a bullet for the berries, and the Titegroup powder, probably at the end of the day, I'm probably using this is at old prices, maybe like 1 cent in powder. I don't know, I'd have to figure it up, but it probably even less than a cent. I'm still using Titegroup that I bought 8 years ago. I bought an enormous 8-pound jug of it, and I don't know, the stuff lasts forever. Probably less than a cent. And the S&B primers I picked up for about 1.6 to 2 cents a piece back years ago. I'm probably looking at about maybe 10 cents a round to do this. So for me, for right now, it is a thing where I think the 2.4 grains that I did, that kind of really wasn't necessarily what I was looking for. It was a little bit snappier to shoot, and it seemed to, the gun didn't really seem to like it as much. It seemed to do, it was fine, and we did see some consistency there. But I think because I'm just looking for just a general plinking round, and that's the other thing too is, with this 32 ACP, I guess there's some folks that use these special pistols in competition. You can't even use these, I don't think, in IDPA or anything, USPSA or anything like that. So really, it's just kind of, a fun little cartridge, basically, to shoot. And, I just want like a general plinking load that I can go out and enjoy shooting my handguns that might be chambered in 32 ACP. So also in the future, I would like to get a CZ Scorpion, the old school Scorpion in 32 ACP, and I wouldn't mind one of those Beretta Tomcats at some point. But anyways, so this is kind of a thing where it seems to shoot pretty good. The berries bullets I have found in past experience, personally myself, I like Full Metal Jacket bullets, and I'm willing to pay extra for them. The whole plated bullet thing in general, I find myself, they don't ever seem to be as accurate, and they seem to be a little more finicky than like a Full Metal Jacket bullet. But your mileage may vary. I don't really have anything like against them or whatever. And one thing we do have to give berries a big plus for is, let's face it, there's not a lot of components out there for 32 ACP in terms of variety, and they're at least giving us something where we can shoot these guns relatively cheaply if we're not casting our own bullets or whatever. So we have to give them a big thumbs up and a big props for that. So where are we going next? Well, let's talk about that. Okay, so where do we take it from here? Well, first thing is, I think we'll at least finish out this box of berries bullets. We'll slightly reduce that powder charge, and just go ahead and make 100 or 200 plinkers. So I have those basically in my cache. So anytime I want to shoot my Beretta 81, I can. And then we're going to move on with the remaining prep brass that we have, and we're going to do a workup on the 71 grain Full Metal Jacket, which is always my preferred. I like the Full Metal Jacket bullets. Bullets from Remington, and these were made before the whole Remington bankruptcy and all that drama and stuff. Now, I know that they must be making these bullets again under the new ownership, because they are selling factory ammo now, 32 ACP ammo made with these bullets. So Whether they'll release some of these to us reloaders at some point, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But I have these and would like to develop a load for them so I can go ahead and use them. And then if they do ever release them to reloaders, well, I have the information ready to go basically and something to kind of draw upon. So that's the plan, is to start working up a load on these. And then also too, the powder, accurate number 2 seemed to, from what folks said, work pretty good with 32 ACP. I was in some gun store recently, saw this sitting on the shelf. I know online you can pick it up for like right around 30 bucks, but then you got to pay hazmat and shipping and all that. You know, I just saw it on the shelf and I was like, yeah, price is a little high, but I'll just go ahead and grab it. And it'll probably go a long ways, and I'll get plenty of loads out of this pound of powder. So let's go ahead and try it. So that's the plan. We will go ahead and start working on a load for these. So that's going to be the next video, actually getting into starting up the workup for this. And then probably by the time that I finish working up the load for this, I will go ahead and once I have a final load, we'll load up the rest of the prep brass that I have, and then I'll be out of brass. And then we'll probably take a break from 32 ACP for a bit and maybe revisit it in, you know, the spring, the summer, the fall, the next winter, who knows. But we will revisit it at some point. Maybe try those hollow point bullets that I had in the first video. Maybe give those a shout, see what else is on the market in terms of bullets. And we're definitely gonna, you know, revisit this at different times in the future because I have that handgun. I like shooting it. Obviously, factory 32 ACP ammo is just outrageous in price. And so pretty much you got a hand load for it if you want to shoot it economically. So that is kind of the plan is, you know, we may take some breaks from it after we finish this project, but we will be back again in the future. Once this project is done as well, I think I'll be switching the press to 300 blackout. So if you like 300 blackout, stay tuned. I have a project coming up for that as well. Plus I'm working on other reviews and things. Like right now, it's so damn cold and I hadn't planned on using it inside, but you can use it inside. I got my Mr. Heater there, adding some additional warmth here in the barn because, well, it's pretty damn cold outside and just trying to keep myself warm. So anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate you all watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.